Welcome back to Snake Eater. So yeah, now that we've done the PS2 deleted content from this part, let's get back to the proper story. All right. So yeah, he gives us. So I do like this detail how the guard gives us our meal in the form of a ration.
But who is this guard specifically? Actually, basically, we kind of we hinted in a couple of previous parts, and we kind of glossed over a bit, only a bit. When he showed up in the first game, but this is actually the ancestor of the same guard who you can trick off in the first game, and for some inexplicable reason showed up also on the second game. And like I said, you can actually snoop around with the mic and hear him, and he will show up again in the future as well. And this is apparently his ancestor.
Remember, we're talking about the guy who got his clothes stolen and was left.
Yes.
Although apparently the main gag is that he has diarrhea.
Well, that's gone. Well, that
found out in Metal Gear Solid 2, but yeah.
That's a family thing, as we're going to see in 4. But moving on.
Yeah. But again, that's also important to hint because, again, eventually that character that you mentioned that showed up in 1 and 2 will play a part also. Also, cute mouse.
Well, maybe the execution of it will be good.
No, not really.
Mr. Jinkos.
I love Metal Gear Solid 4, but even I will definitely tell you that the diarrhea jokes are terrible.
Okay.
Anyway,
I know Metal Gear's
Not
known for
looking
its
forward
meta.
to that.
In terms of its humor, Metal Gear's known for meta humor, not.
So what if we inputted that codec call?
There you go. So there you go. There we go, Shiroi. Accessing that radio frequency that weird ghost figure was giving his last part unlocks the jail door.
Pedro, I'm pretty sure that was Nick just having an hallucination that clicked to something in his brain after all that fucking electrocution, from Volgin.
I don't know. He could see it clearly despite having only one eye.
That being said, don't worry, Dwibs. It does pop up mostly in the first act, and fortunately they do eventually cut it out and just stop doing it. Fortunately, so it's not that big a deal in the grand scheme of things. Fortunately.
Sorry, Major, we were kind of busy.
Yeah, I'm out.
But yeah, there's a point though. Yeah, no, like it is
practically naked. Yes, very funny, Zero.
Naked Snake. Yes, we get it. No, but Webbs is right though. Up until this point, Metal Gear never felt the need to do anything like that. So it is weird that they do that in 4. Fortunately, it's not that big a deal in the grand scheme of things. So don't worry too much.
I have a bit of a theory regarding 4 because Metal Gear Solid 4 does a lot of weird things. I ultimately like it, but I can absolutely understand people who may not have had the patience for all
there's also these. Remember the sequence of 2 that Pedro did showcase where Aiden can get accidentally peed on? That's the same guy doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
No, with that, that's fine because it's just a one-off thing that lasts a minute and it's fine. The problem with 4 is that they literally have entire scenes with it, and that's the problem. But moving on, we can talk about when we actually get to it.
We're not there yet.
Anyway, back to what I was saying. My fear with why 4 is weird and all that is because Kojima kind of thought that 4 was going to be his last one, so he probably thought, well, it's my last chance to give this or that a try, and so he did.
Anyway.
Well, we need to get the fuck out of Groznygrad.
Yes, so right now the best place to go is to go to where Eva told us. She has all of our equipment and our clothes, so we have to try our best to escape from the fortress. As usual...
It's funny, you're in your lingerie and I still got my trousers on.
As usual, this is a sneaking mission, so be sure to not get caught.
Freeze to death, by the way, since you're half naked.
Mm-hmm.
The power of his testosterone drove will manage to be
This is the same logic that went into the first Tomb Raider game where Lara's clearly not dressed for being in a big snowy area.
Well, I guess if...
Is this where the inspiration for that character from 5 came from?
Is that... Oh, you mean Quiet? No, I don't think so. But,
To be fair, we've had this as early as Metal Gear Solid 1, where Sniper Wolf, who clearly was... Okay, yeah, sure. For her actual fight, she's wearing some appropriate gear. That's more so for camouflage, but otherwise, she is wearing an outfit that does not leave much to the imagination, and she sure ain't freezing.
Also,
no, she's wearing a April O'Neil style jumpsuit.
I think the game is
one
telling
that
you
is
what you
pretty
should
much
eat,
has a one that has a neckline that plunges pretty deep. So again, exposure to the cold and all that.
The ladies...
You're gonna say it, Pedro?
Well, I guess...
Say something, Pedro?
So would you say that the beginning of Rise of the Tomb Raider was an attempt to, you know, make up for that, considering Laura is definitely using proper winter gear at the beginning of that game, so...
Well, I mean, 2015 standards and yeah.
Well, already the reboot series of from 2013 onward, they toned down the fan service considerably anyway. So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought the one was gonna sing Snaky.
Snake, pick up the pace. We're literally on your trail.
I always love these games.
I just lost an eye.
I always love these games where the moving speed of the character is essentially a jog, no matter how dangerous the situation gets. Special mention goes to Resident Evil 2 Remake, where there are terrors that would have most people running like Usain Bolt, but the characters just slightly jog away from those.
Alright, time for the sewer level.
Hooray! I guess we don't really have much of a choice.
Oh, alright. Yes, Eva?
Snake, you're already in the sewers?
Eva. Yeah, I just got down here.
The smell is great.
I'm coming to meet you now.
Say,
The door's
Tatiana,
open, right?
Snake?
how come none of the Russians ever
There's a
sound
problem.
Yeah.
Russian?
What is it this time?
It's an in-game thing. We actually do sound Russian when we're speaking the language.
Figured as much.
This isn't Doctor Who. The
Just my luck.
TARDIS, Jonah.
I'm out of
You know, honestly, time travel is one of the few things Metal Gear hasn't done yet.
Dr. Snake.
You've
Well,
got to be
shit.
kidding me.
I'm serious. And that means the escape route I laid out.
Yeah, I would love a Metal Gear style remix of the Doctor Who theme.
That would be cool.
Down here.
They'll be there any minute.
So in typical fashion, despite supposed to be, you know, the safer way, the sewer is actually arguably just as dangerous.
Well, it's not
Correct,
as
we don't really
dangerous,
last long,
but yeah.
so-
The main idea is for us to escape because obviously this being a sewer, it leads into a river, which of course leads to outside. So yeah.
We'll need to improvise a bit.
All right. So basically, just keep going, and you should eventually reach the exit. Like Jova just hinted at, yes, we're going to have some guard dogs and some actual proper guards as well in the path. Not that many, so it's not that big a deal.
Must be some pretty good bloodhounds if they can sniff through all the smell of the sewage.
I mean, dogs naturally have a heightened, sense of smell anyway. So I can
without a
imagine
doubt.
they should be able.
I think the reason Jova's saying that is because, because it smells so badly in here, it might throw their nose off, maybe.
Yeah. Like, here's the thing. A lot of things that people do to try and throw off the scent is to,
Yeah.
go and get themselves
See, the thing
dirtied
about
up or...
See, the thing about dogs having a high sense of smell, it works both in a good way and in a bad way. If you're in a place that smells like shit, the dog is going to go nuts because the smell is so strong to it.
Yeah,
Also, Snake does the sensible choice, does not eat the bat.
let me guess, is it because it reminds him of Dracula? And yes, I know we're playing the...
Let's go with that. Moving on.
And yeah, I know we're playing the HD version, but it technically did still happen, supposedly, story-wise, so... maybe.
That actually reminds me, considering... Okay, we still don't know exactly what those minor edits of the Master Collection we're going to get. That being said, for the remake itself, are they going to include live-action footage of any kind in the remake?
Don't see why they shouldn't. They still need to talk about historical facts and everything.
Although Pedro raises a good point. If they are going to include the live action footage in the remake, surely then they would still provide it in the remasters as well. Then.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like we speculated, the edits might be just a case of the posters with the models, for all we know.
Okay. I'll say this: if Kojima were the one in charge of this remake, I could so see him wanting to actually use their own in-game footage just to show how far the processing and graphics can be to pretty much simulate real life.
Sure, I'm okay with that. I mean, probably the main reason this original game had that was because, of course, not only because, like it helps ground the story in fictional reality, but also it was in a way to also get around the fact that you couldn't exactly render character models to the extent you can today. However, I can see the remake instead recreating the live action bits from this game with its own game engine. I can see that being a
Tell me
thing.
that dog can crawl right under after.
No, it cannot. No, it cannot. Which is weird because you'd think it would be able to.
It's funny because we saw it.
Never mind. There it is.
Oh.
They crawl now. Also, I don't think despite the fact we saw screenshots, I don't even know if they specifically mention if it's the Fox engine or not. Because they kind of stopped using it.
No, Konami stopped using it. Well, remember too, the thing.
It's probably Unreal 5 then.
That's the thing too. Ever since the Kojima and his team departed Konami, the Fox they still remain using the Fox engine, but the engine itself was never actually updated, and now it's gotten to a point where it's officially outdated. So they don't want to bother updating it.
What for a second there?
Anyway, Tio has a point. Like, the Unreal Engine is pretty much where it's at for a lot of games nowadays. It's good, universal, and pretty much once you've mastered it, you have got it well in the bag for a lot of stuff. Not to say that there aren't still some games wherein, they don't use Unreal, but it does feel like, the Unreal engines are pretty much becoming the town bike.
A lot of the indie scene still uses the Unity engine driven because it's actually more, not technically accessible, but and friendly towards, indie developers who actually wants to experiment.
Remember, in order to use the Unreal engine,
not as good as a versatility.
Remember, in order to use the Unreal engine, you have to pay a fee to Epic Games, and considering how popular their engine is, it's probably not cheap.
Well,
not to mention again having to pay Epic Games to begin with.
Yeah.
Well, okay. That it's unfortunately a bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of a necessary evil of sorts. Because again, as much as Epic Games sucks, I can't deny their Unreal engines are top notch for game development.
Oh, pretty much.
Sure.
Like, there's a reason you see all these different genres of games now using them.
Yeah, we do have some good alternate examples from internal, like the Northlight engine from Remedy works really well. Neo the World Ends With You works well with the Unity engine. I never had any problem either PS4 or the PC.
As for why a lot of companies go with Unreal instead of making their own engines, my guess would be it's way more expensive to make engines for specific types of games as opposed to...
And can potentially create problems, if not tested properly, Again, it's the caveat, if you develop in-house, you'd have to pay much less, but you're not having the guarantee of a good product.
Ever since creating the Ni no Kuni engine for the first Ni no Kuni, Level 5 has been consistently using it for their projects, including, as you saw, late in the World of Steam, which is like if you take a look at the first trailer for that, you can tell Layton's being rendered in the Ni no Kuni engine. Like, look at his neck. Yeah, that's a Ni no Kuni shadow right there. Like, if you've played Ni no Kuni as much as me and Teo have, you'll be able to recognize that it's definitely using the Ni no Kuni engine.
I will say that one of the drawbacks...
shrinking in the world map then?
I will say, one of the drawbacks of having your own engine in-house is, again, unless you made it with multiple purposes in mind, it can end up being rather limiting, especially the older it gets, whereas Epic constantly are updating the Unreal assets.
Well, I'm sure Remedy keeps updating the Northlight engine. conform.
Yeah, it's also the one that Capcom developed recently for the Resident Evil.
Yeah, the
remake
RE
that they
engine.
Ended up
Yeah.
being using for everything, including Street
Oh,
Fighter
look!
6.
Let's walk towards the light!
Or go through the door instead.
Yeah, it's locked.
It's locked, so I guess we'll keep going then.
Sorry, boys, you can't make it past that invisible wall.
Alright, time for another movie reference, one that me, Pedro, Dweebs, and Jova actually have seen. Well, not immediately, but soon enough.
Hey, I've seen X-Men.
Actually, I've seen instead The Fugitive.
That too, yeah.
I've been waiting for this. Nobody interfere. This is where it ends. Snake!
Damn it! He chose to go the coward's way out and let us instead of me ending. Yeah. Joke's on you, Snake. I've still got the bullet saved.
And yeah, if he fired another time, he would have got him.
Don't
Indeed.
yet.
Well, I guess he lives to die another day.
Next
Or
time,
no,
Snake.
uh,
And if not that, then the time after that.
The thing
And then
is
the
that,
next time.
yeah.
Oh shit! Oh my God! Shiroi and Dwibs and Jova. A forest fire. Rachel, did you burn another forest again?
For fuck's sakes, nobody's gonna do anything about this anyway.
God, Rachel actually time traveled back just to burn
Actually,
another forest.
if you notice the location, we kind of been in this place already. Although it now starts raining.
Huh.
Rachel,
Okay.
listen to me. I know we say be game, do crimes, but that doesn't mean forest fires.
Oh. And there's
Look,
the.
it's the hooded man.
It's the hooded man that gave us that radio frequency.
What?
Good question.
So sad.
Hey,
What
guys.
is this, Kingdom Hearts 2?
I'm sorry.
No,
for
hold
you.
on. Guys, what's a synonym for sad?
Depression.
Think more.
Upsetty?
And you are one of them.
Also, consider this Kojima sneaking the prototype for Death Stranding with these.
Yep.
What?
The Sorrow.
Supposed
He's
to
played.
be dead.
He's played by David Thomas. So yeah, our final Cobra boss battle technically, before the boss, the Sorrow, or rather his ghost.
Yep. We have ghosts now in the Metal Gear universe.
Yes.
That's because you know, Snake is apparently on the brink of dying. So
Though keep in mind, though, he never knew the Sorrow, though. So, how is he getting what is pretty much the spinning image of the Sorrow?
Oh no! And now, Shiroi, similar to Undertale, the game is gonna judge you.
Yep.
Have you been a
Sweet.
good boy or not?
Well, since Pedro has spent
As you can
most
see,
of
the
the
Sorrow has
game-
literally no alpha.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Basically,
So,
alright, so basically, Shiroi, here's how this boss battle works. You know, remember how I made a point that I was going to go for a no-kill, or at the very least as much of a no-kill run as I possibly could throughout this playthrough? There's a reason for that. The Sorrow is going to summon the souls of every single soldier I have killed throughout this entire game. And if they touch me, they'll kill Snake. So basically, Shiroi,
including bosses.
including bosses, like so. See, basically, Shiroi, the more people you kill throughout the game, the hardest this boss battle will be.
If I recall correctly, bosses are always a given, even if you use like
Yeah.
the non-lethal gun.
Yes.
Because, you know, they always.
And occasionally
die.
you can do that. But I know what you're thinking. What happens if, you know, any of the ghost or his attacks actually touch you? You get a jump scare. I don't know if Pedro manages to trigger it or not, but you get a jump scare basically. I don't remember if it actually damages your health or not.
As you can see, Shiroi, when Toby thanked Kojima on Twitter for inspiration, he wasn't kidding. At all. Alright.
What's with the strangled cat noises in the
That
background?
was the parrot,
parrot.
actually.
The parrot at the end.
Parrot
There was
died.
the end.
That was a parrot.
Yeah, that apparently means the parrot died, which, okay, granted, given that trailer for the remake, I guess this means that we can essentially blame
There's the Fury.
an alligator, the crocodile for killing the parrot, since, again, in the remake's trailer, that's how it dies.
Well, no, the parrot actually manages to get away. The crocodile and the anaconda fight each other more than anything.
I was so sure we saw the parrot actually get eaten in that remake trailer, but I might be misremembering.
Mm-hmm.
But
So,
again, this means that the
Lots of
parrot
that
died.
being.
and
at
now,
some point.
and there you go. If you reach the end and touch the Sorrow's Nightmare, because we actually found his corpse, the Sorrow's corpse, you die from it. However, there is one thing you can do. However, let's just basically I wanted to show what happens, but in case you get that.
So
Yeah.
you've not been behaving.
No, I have been behaving, Shiroi. It's just that when I reach his body, like as in the Sorrow's body, the like so. No, you'll notice, Shiroi, that one of the items I came packed with is a revival pill in case I swallow my fake death pill. So here's what you have to do. Once you get to this point and the game over screen shows up, the game will actually allow you to use the item screen and take the revival pill. That's what you're supposed to do. There you go, and it reverses the game over screen. There you go.
So you win by cheating, which the game does urge you to do.
I can't.
Shoot me.
And now I'm...
Yeah, this dialogue that we're hearing is actually the Sorrow talking with the Joy.
Okay, the boss. For those who forgot.
The spirit of the warrior will always be.
And as the dialogue implied, not just this, but also before, the two were in love with each other, actually.
We'll meet again someday.
Don't know where, don't know when.
Yeah. Also, Snake, you're still, underwater. You might want to get up.
You feel your sins filling up your lungs.
Tasty. It's fine.
Amazing.
Yeah, at least your wounds are cleaned out, kinda, maybe. I don't know.
It's
Somewhat.
water in the middle of the jungle, Shiroi. I get a hunch, but it's not really that much disinfected.
Better than nothing.
Well, at least we made it out. So there's that.
Thanks, I guess, to the Sorrow.
You can argue that the sequence also plays in tongue-in-cheek a bit with the themes of death and rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
With Snake choking afterward. We're still missing an eye, though.
What was in those shrooms?
Yeah, not much of interest there. Yeah.
Alright, let's report.
So now we have defeated
Snake,
nearly all
you
the
all right?
Cobra unit.
That was a close call.
What the hell happened to me?
You were halfway drowned at the bottom of the river. Almost crossed over to the other side.
Other side.
The other side of the
So
river?
that really was.
Yeah.
Something on your mind, Snake?
Major, was there a man in the Cobra unit called the Sorrow?
Yes, I've heard of him. He was an uncanny soldier who fought alongside the boss.
What kind of man was he?
The Sorrow was a man with, well, special powers. He had ESP, which was the subject of extensive research in the Soviet Union at the time. He was especially gifted as a medium.
A medium?
So there you go. He's a medium, which basically is the universe explanation for why he can, his whole thing with the spirit
Again,
world
the
and
series-
shit.
What was
The
going on
series
in
is not
the
straight
battle
to
I was talking
supernatural at this point,
What about him and the
so
boss?
makes
What
sense.
was the story between them?
So
I
that
don't know the
means
details.
Maya Fey
Why don't we ask
could
Sigurd?
qualify as a super soldier
Yo,
in the Metal Gear
I finished checking
universe.
up on this Sorrow guy a while ago. Thought you guys already knew, though,
Knew what?
that he's dead. He's been dead for 2 years now.
Died 2 years ago?
At Selino Yarsk.
But
You know,
I
those
just
clips
fought
you-
him.
And the boss is the one who did him in.
The boss?
Yep. 2 years ago, the boss was sent by the CIA on a secret mission to Selino Yarsk. That's when she met the Sorrow, who'd gone back to the Soviet Union after the Cobras broke up at the end of the war. Except this time they were enemies.
And then what?
The boss killed the Sorrow herself and accomplished her mission. At least, that's what the records say.
I'm sure nothing else
He was
happened.
never there in the first place. He just couldn't let go of the boss.
You okay, Snake?
Yeah, I'm fine. It looks like it's not time for me to die yet.
I sure hope not. Otherwise, the whole mission is shot. We're counting on you, pal.
Roger that.
I'm sure you'll go on to live a peaceful, quiet
Snake,
life after all
you
this
didn't
and
call.
not
I
go
was
down
worried.
in a literal burning heat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but you were worried about us?
Detour.
What are you talking about?
You know,
Forget
the
it.
thought occurs to me,
Let's just say I'm
Pedro.
back.
Yes, Jova.
But how did you
Naked
escape from the
Snake
sewers?
took on the
in the
Fury
river.
just
All the way
fine.
up there?
Yet he will later go down to a
Yeah, I
rinky-dink
got carried away by the
man-made
current and almost drowned.
flamethrower in the future.
That's perfect.
He probably was not prepared for that.
Perfect.
Which is ironic, he had the complete advantage on Solid and still lost. Guess his son
Keep going
surpassed
upstream
him.
until you get to the waterfall.
There you go. She tells us of another place we can meet.
Right. Behind that waterfall, there's a cave. We'll meet in there.
Well, that
Cave
begs the
behind the
question:
waterfall
why?
upstream. Got
We
it.
noticed for the dialogue. Why did the Sorrow encourage Snake to leave? If he was part of the Cobra unit, he would want him to be dead.
I wonder. Alright,
And again, one might think it's
Also
just a
goat.
hallucination, but remember, Vasaro knew stuff that Naked Snake definitely didn't.
yep,
So that kind of shoots the idea it was all hallucination down.
kinda, yep. Alright, let's see. Yeah.
The waterfall where Eva said she'd meet you is up ahead to the north. Head that direction.
Okay, sounds good. Paramedic, you have something to say?
I
Thank
see
you,
you
Kyle.
caught a vampire.
Ooh, a vampire bat.
The vampire bat bites its victims and sucks their blood.
Got it.
Speaking
Duh.
of bats,
Just save it.
huh?
Lovely.
I know you're going to talk about vampire movies. Attack of the Vampire Donuts or Dracula versus
Vampire
the Space
Donuts.
Hippos or something like that.
Dracula versus the
Actually,
Space
I was going to
Hippos.
say
Yes.
How about Dracula versus?
I want to see that movie.
Yeah, why
Bats
not?
use supersonic waves to sense their surroundings.
You know, let me
so
see
you
if
might
that's
be able to
actually a
keep them
real
away By
thing.
blasting them with a special kind of sound.
What
wave.
versus Dracula? Yes.
As for taste,
No. I know
there's
about
no
that. I mean
reason you
Dracula
can't
versus
eat
Space.
them.
Hippos.
Paramedic. Recent events would
Snake,
suggest
do you like
otherwise.
vampire movies?
What?
Just now, you sounded like you really hated them.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, no one really likes them, do they?
Oh,
Some people
shut
do.
up, Snake.
Like you.
Yeah. They're fascinating, you know? Like the movie Dracula. Why
No.
not?
Just
We've been through this, paramedic.
Are you afraid?
what?
You're afraid of vampires, aren't you?
Don't be ridiculous.
But
Listen. There are
What?
no such
No.
things as vampires.
Oh.
They're just a stupid, made-up legend. If they do see
Yeah, isn't that right, Vamp?
well, sure.
You think I'd be afraid of something like that?
No.
Okay, I'm
Exactly.
convinced.
Right.
I am
I'm not
convinced
afraid of
that somebody at Konami really wanted Dracula to be
It's
in
just
Smash Ultimate,
Whenever
along
somebody
with
starts
Snake,
talking about
just to see
vampires,
this
I end
fruit to
up dreaming about them
fruition.
that night, and I don't need that right now. That's all.
He totally believes in vampires. He's just getting all defensive.
Of course he believes in vampires, Shiro. He also believes in Santa
You
Claus.
want to save?
Alright, let's save.
Which, when you think about it, kind of puts Mary Gear Solid into kind of a darker light.
Alright, so what do you have for us today, Paramedic?
Snake, have you seen Doctor Strangelove? Or
Yes,
How
I have. I love that movie.
Absolutely.
I love it's one of my it's like the best comedy ever made in my opinion.
Doctor Strangelove, not to be confused with that actual Doctor Strangelove, who was very much a thing in this universe at the
The actor who
time.
plays Doctor Strangelove also plays two
Him.
other main characters.
Yeah, we don't like to talk about him though, but sure, that is true.
Her.
It just came
Oh,
out this
sorry.
year,
Yeah,
so
Strangelove's a
still gonna
she.
see it.
For yeah, she's,
No, I'm talking about Peter Sellers though.
I'll give it a try.
Oh, I was talking about the actual Strangelove in the
No,
Metal Gear.
well, she was talking about the actor, like the actor who plays Doctor Strangelove
Peter
plays two roles.
Sellers.
So I was talking about Peter Sellers specifically, because Peter Sellers was kind of a dick. Let's just say. All right, everybody, tune in next time where we meet with Eva.
Yeah.
See ya.